This story was recently dug up from a blurry local news clip that aired once on a low-budget Pennsylvania station back in 2006. It was filed under School Incident, No Casualties, and quietly forgotten. No follow-ups, no coverage. But somehow, someone saved the tape. My name's Dylan Mercer. I was 18 that year, finishing up senior year at Ashford Regional High School. Quiet town, one gas station, one diner, and a school where nothing ever happened until that day. I don't remember everything, not clearly, I've tried to forget, but when I saw that clip again last month, just a 5-second shot of the hallway outside the gym, I saw myself, standing by the lockers, looking directly at the camera. And I swear, I don't remember any cameras being there. It started third period, Tuesday morning. Gym class had just ended. I was the last one out of the locker room because I had to double back and grab my inhaler. As I stepped into the hallway, the intercom crackled. Staff and students immediately proceed to the nearest classroom and secure the door. It wasn't the usual voice. It was shaky, uneven, like someone trying not to panic. At first, I thought it was a drill, but then the bell didn't ring. Doors slammed shut, and I watched Mrs. Connors, the lunch lady, run across the lobby and dive into the nurse's office. I panicked and ducked into the janitor's closet near Hall B. It was small, smelled like bleach and paint, and the only light came through the slats in the vent. I pushed a cart in front of the door and crouched low. 10 minutes passed. Then I heard footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Not like someone running from danger, but like someone dragging something. When they passed the closet door, I peeked through the slats. A man, not a student, was dragging a gym bag. Not over his shoulder, not wheeled, just dragging it. It was dark blue and heavy. Too heavy. Like something dense was inside. He didn't look around, just walked. Down the hall, past the office, and then he was gone. Later, when the lockdown ended, they said it was a misunderstanding, that no one entered the building, that no one was in danger. But 2 lockers near the gym had been pried open. My friend Jonah's hoodie was found folded and placed on the floor next to locker 122, and the janitor, Mr. Lafferty, was never seen again. Retired early, they said, except I saw his truck in the school parking lot for 3 more days. No one ever found that gym bag, and no one talked about the footage again. The story was never supposed to be heard again. It aired once on a local high school broadcast back in 2003 on a forgotten station with barely enough signal to reach past the football field. Someone recorded it on VHS of all things. And years later, that tape ended up on a thrift store shelf. My name's Haley Rios. I was 17 that year and part of the AV club at Roosevelt High in southern Arizona. If you're younger, you probably don't remember how creepy the silence used to be in those old school buildings. Long white halls, no cell service, just the hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional dusty speaker crackling to life. We were supposed to run test broadcasts every Thursday at lunch. Basic stuff. Announcements, birthday shout-outs, weather updates. That's all it ever was. Until one day, we picked up a strange frequency. 89.1 FM. It wasn't listed anywhere in the school system. Wasn't our gear. But when we tuned to it, we heard a girl's voice, whispering. They see us. They know we're awake. We recorded it, but when we played it back, silence. Our teacher, Mr. Bell, said it was likely a pirate signal, told us to ignore it. The next day, Friday, during second period, the intercom buzzed. Not with the principal's voice, not even in English. Just a low static hum, followed by a message. Lock your doors. Stay away from the walls. No drill. No explanation. We all locked up and sat in silence. 30 minutes later, the lockdown ended. No one had seen anything. But the broadcasting equipment? fried, burned out, and Mr. Bell never came back. The school said he took a personal leave, but the AV room stayed locked the rest of the year. Here's the part I haven't told anyone. A week later, I got a call on my home landline. No one spoke, just the same whisper I heard that day. They see us. They know we're awake. This story came from a public access crime bulletin that aired once in 1999 and was never rebroadcast. It showed grainy footage of a high school lockdown in rural Kentucky. No injuries, no explanation, no arrests. But someone recently found a VHS recording of that segment in a thrift store donation bin. My name is Brandon Ellis. I was 19 when it happened. I'd already graduated from Lewis County Alternative School the year before, but I stayed behind in town for a while. Took a part-time tech job at the same school. Nothing glamorous. Mostly fixing printers and keeping attendance software from crashing. I hadn't thought about that lockdown in years. I barely remembered it even happened, until I watched that tape again. In the background of one of the hallway shots, I saw myself, just for a second, sitting in the front office, looking terrified. It all came back. That morning had been quiet. Too quiet, actually. The attendance dashboard I helped maintain had been glitching lately. Nothing major, just names showing up twice or entire entries going blank. But around 10:30 a.m., a new name popped onto the screen that stopped me cold. Riley Faulkner. That name shouldn't have been there. Riley had died 2 years earlier in a car crash the summer before our senior year. We'd been inseparable back then. Played the same video games, skipped the same boring assemblies. I even gave a speech at his memorial, and yet, there it was. Riley Faulkner, listed as present, logged into the system, assigned to Locker 3B. I thought it was a data entry screw-up. Maybe someone recycled a username. I went to delete it, but it came right back. Every time I removed it, it reappeared. Then the alarm hit. No voice over the intercom, just a high-pitched siren and blinking red hallway lights. The main office doors locked automatically, and the secretary, Ms. Allen, ran out to check what was happening. She never came back. I ducked under the desk and pulled up the hallway security feed. At first, the screen was black, then static, then it flickered to life. A figure was walking down the east hallway, hoodie up, head down, slow, uneven gait, and even on the grainy feed, I recognized that limp. It was Riley. I froze. Just watched as he passed the lockers, the same lockers we used to lean against when skipping class. He didn't look at the camera. Not until the very end, when he stopped by Locker 3B, then he turned his head. Right at the lens, right at me. And the feed cut out. I told myself I imagined it. Had to be a prank. Maybe an old yearbook photo spliced in as a joke. But when the police arrived and the lockdown was lifted, no one mentioned seeing anyone in the halls. The administration called it a sensor malfunction. Still, they replaced the security system the very next day. That night, I went back into the attendance system logs. There was only one entry for Riley, a single login, time-stamped 10:28 a.m., 5 minutes before the lockdown. And get this, the ID number it used was his, the original one, not recycled, not copied. Here's where it gets worse. 2 weeks later, I found a class of '97 yearbook in my mailbox. No note, no return address. I flipped through it, saw all the familiar faces. Then I found Riley's picture. Same one as always. Him in that ratty denim jacket he wore every day. But the caption underneath his name wasn't what it used to be. It didn't say Riley Faulkner. It said, "Returned." This one barely made the news. A substitute teacher shows up out of nowhere, and a rural prep school goes into lockdown. No one was hurt. No one pressed charges. But the year after it happened, Birchfield Prep quietly stopped hiring outside staff and wiped the incident from its website. My name's Naomi Park. I was 16 when it happened, in my junior year at Birchfield Prep in upstate New York. We were a small school with fancy buildings and old money kids, the kind of place that looked safe, untouchable. But that day proved otherwise. We were told a sub would be filling in for Mr. Halbrook, our history teacher. Nothing unusual, the guy showed up right before the bell. Tall, pale, maybe early 40s. Said his name was Mr. Adler. No accent, no emotion. He handed out packets like he'd been there forever, but he kept watching us. Not in a creepy way at first, just attentive, too attentive. He didn't look down at papers or a screen, just watched our reactions. When someone got an answer wrong, he smiled. When someone got one right, he wrote something down. During the break between second and third period, I passed the front office and overheard the receptionist whispering on the phone, "No, we didn't call anyone. We have no sub scheduled for Halbrook." I stopped walking. Before I could listen more, the PA system clicked on. "This is a lockdown. Teachers, secure your doors. Students, stay where you are." The voice wasn't our principal, and it wasn't our usual lockdown script. I rushed back toward the classroom. Mr. Adler was already inside, standing by the door. He waved me in like he'd been expecting me. Then he shut the door, locked it, and turned off the lights. "Everyone to the back wall," he said. We huddled together. Some kids giggled, nervous. Adler stood by the windows, watching, waiting. Then someone knocked on the door. It was soft, slow, 3 taps, then nothing. Adler didn't react. 5 minutes passed, then 10. We whispered about what was happening. One girl asked why Adler hadn't contacted the office. He smiled and said, "We're safer in here." Eventually, we heard police voices in the hall. They knocked, announced themselves. When Adler finally opened the door, he stepped aside silently. The officers looked confused. One of them whispered to the other, "I thought he was still in the lobby." They escorted us out. The next day, school was canceled. Then Monday came and we were told Halbrook would be back. No mention of Adler, no investigation, no explanation. I checked every online record I could find. State certification, staff photos, district hire logs. No one named Adler was ever employed by the school. And when I went back months later to visit a friend, I passed an old photo display in the admin hallway. Staff pictures from years past. I stopped cold, because there, in the photo from 1985, was Adler. Same face, same eyes, same exact smile. But the nameplate read, Custodian, Adler M. This one was captured on a bootleg audio cassette passed between students in Northern California around 2001. It was supposed to be just another boring school announcement. But what came through the intercom that day? It wasn't from the school system. My name's Trey Dalton. I was 17 when this happened, a junior at Woodland High. I worked in the AV booth every Friday morning before first period, played birthday shoutouts, read the lunch menu, gave reminders. Nothing serious. I liked being behind the mic. It made me feel invisible in a good way. That morning started like normal. I got in early, reviewed the script, and waited for the bell. But the mic light turned on by itself. I hadn't touched anything. I hadn't hit record. Then a voice came through the intercom. Not mine. Not anyone from the school. "If you're hearing this, it's already started. Barricade room 104 first." Everyone in the building heard it. I froze, looked at the controls. Nothing was live. I hadn't broadcast anything yet, but I knew one thing. That wasn't a prank. A minute later, the school went into lockdown. But not from the office. The alarms triggered themselves. We sat in silence for nearly an hour. After it was over, no one could explain what happened. The administration said it was a glitch, that someone hacked the PA system, but the tech guy said that kind of access would require a physical override. Someone had to be in the booth. Problem is, I was the only one with a key. That night, I played back the tape from our broadcast recorder. There was no emergency message, just my voice, doing the lunch menu. But I wasn't crazy, because the next morning, Room 104 was sealed off with caution tape. Rumors said someone broke in through the windows and trashed the place. No suspects. I thought it was over. Until 3 days later, when I turned on the mic for the Monday announcements. The light came on by itself again, and a different voice, deeper, slower, came through the speakers. You didn't listen.